Few people in public life are as instantly recognisable as Hulk Hogan. Terry Bollea, who died sadly at the age of 71 on July the 24th, 2025. A little bit late to this one. I was debating whether to do a video on this, but for people that know me, know I've been a huge wrestling fan for as long as I can remember. Introduced to it on a Saturday afternoon, World of Sport, with Big Daddy, Giant Haystacks, Kendo Nagasaki, Fit Finlay, Mick McManus, just a plethora. Pat Roach, a plethora of larger than life characters. And then I remember one day they didn't show the British wrestling, they showed the American wrestling. And it's like, what's this? Vince McMahon had just taken over, so it was all glitz and glamour, trying to really bring a production level of like a circus and a pantomime to the wrestling. And I remember seeing Hulk Hogan for the first time thinking, who the hell's this guy? This guy's massive. And how much, as a person of my age, just turned 50, how big was Hulk Hogan as a cultural phenomenon? Obviously in Rocky 3, which set him on a path to mega stardom, really. But with him and Vince, there wouldn't be wrestling as it is now without Hulk Hogan. The part he played in globalizing a product, I don't think that can be understood. Right person at the right time. I mean, he said that. Vince McMahon said that. And when you lose somebody of the caliber of Hulk Hogan, it's yeah. I mean, I was never the biggest Hulk Hogan fan, but for me there are three. And as you're getting older, you live in a time where these things are going to start happening. But I listened to a podcast called the Laps Fan podcast. If you like wrestling and you like podcasts and you like old school wrestling, listen to the Lapsed Fan, because they delve into old wrestling, they break it down, and it's hilarious, very, very funny. And they've got a thing where when a wrestler dies, Jack Encarnacio and JP Sorrow, the two guys that present the Laps Fan, they've got a thing where what they'll do is, if a wrestler dies, whoever finds out first just texts that name to the other guy. And I can only imagine what that text would have been like on Thursday when Hulk Hogan went, because for me, it came out of nowhere. I know he's had his many back surgeries over the time, and it sadly tainted his own legacy slightly over the last few years. The politics of the man behind the camera, that doesn't work for me, brother. For anybody that has an interest in wrestling, that unless he wanted to do it, he wouldn't do it. He had a clause in his contract that basically gave him complete creative freedom, and if he didn't want to do something, he wouldn't do it. He was accused of burying wrestlers professionally and not putting them over, crushing wrestlers as he went along. You had the stuff outside the ring. Hello, you okay? You had the stuff outside the ring where he was caught saying racist comments on camera or on a recorded message, which caused him to have his WWE contract terminated, and he was removed from the Hall of Fame. You've had him with the political things over the last couple of years, which I know has annoyed a lot of people. You had the Hogan Knows Best series that created lots of problems for him. And let's be honest, if you're going to do something like this, you have to be honest. Probably not the most truthful man in the world. Wrote a couple of books, and it's largely bollocks. The story, it's like he didn't know. Hulk Hogan consumed Terry Bollea, and he didn't know fact from fiction anymore, and it sort of tarnished his legacy. sadly. I did see that the WWE did a tribute to him, a very nice long tribute to him, and I think that's only right. I know that he'd almost become persona non grata in certain circles of wrestling, so I didn't think it would be right that they didn't acknowledge the passing of Hulk Hogan, because for me there are two, maybe three, but two absolute, maybe four, that transcend. When you think about wrestling, there's probably three or four people that come to mind. Hulk Hogan is one of them. Stone Cold Steve Austin was generational talent. The Rock during his at the same time as Stone Cold, really, and Ric Flair. I don't think we're in any trouble of losing The Rock or Steve Austin. They look like they look after themselves. Ric Flair, I saw do an interview the other day, and he looked awful. I know he's in his 70s, so but we're at a stage where we're going to be losing. So, and a lot of wrestlers die young because of the lifestyle and the drugs that they've taken. Well documented. Obviously, Hulk lied about the steroids and etc. etc. But I think you can't deny his place in the history of wrestling, and what he achieved in wrestling was incredible. When he turned heel at Bash at the Beach, was it '94, when formed the New World Order, the NWA, and that became NWO, and that became global. I mean, the NWO was global. It was a phenomenon. The Monday Night Wars with the WCW and WWF at the time was monumental, and Hulk Hogan was very much front and center of that. And I think it's sad. It is sad that we've lost a cultural icon. Yes, he's sullied his own legacy. Yes, you knew he was lying because his lips were moving. Yes, all of the bad stuff, the sex tape and all that stuff that really. I remember watching WrestleMania 6 was the first WrestleMania I watched. Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan, and was like just completely starstruck. And I was an Ultimate Warrior fan. Obviously, we lost the Warrior a good 15 years ago now, something like that. And it is sad that Hulk's gone. And if you're like me, and I imagine a lot of people are torn on their feelings towards that, because say he's never my favourite wrestler, did a lot to damage wrestling over the last few years as well. But a guy that ultimately, without him, maybe the WWE or I still call it WWF, wouldn't be here. I wonder what your thoughts are on Hulk Hogan. Not a video that a style that I generally do, and I was going to sit and script it and do that, but I'm just going to speaking from the heart. Very sad when I heard what had happened. I think we were still at Clarkson's pub, and I messaged Dave on the way, because he was on his way home, and he was just like, fucking hell. And I think it's one of those it's a fucking hell moment. It's very, very sad. Remember, and I mean, the music, being American, and when he went to WCW, American made, fantastic, just stands out, and you knew that he's coming, and the pop he elicited from coming to the ring was just monumental. And yeah, I don't think I would be a wrestling fan if I hadn't. I would have been a wrestling fan. That's not true. Maybe I'd not gravitated towards the WWF at the time if I hadn't seen Hulk Hogan that one time on ITV. So there you go. Sadly, the death of Hulk Hogan. I don't even know if I'm going to put this out. Interested in your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Hulk Hogan? Do you have any memories, thoughts on did he tarnish his own legacy? I think he did, sadly. But I was glad to see the WWE. I watched a lot of people talking about it as well. Old wrestlers that he clearly had problems with, and it's nice to see that people have had nice things to say about him, which in the long scheme of things he might not actually have deserved. So, but it's his family that they've got to pick up the pieces now, haven't they? But yeah, rest in peace, Hulk, and thank you for the memories, brother. What you gonna do?